Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because we're diving headfirst into the ultimate healer build that's going to blow your mind. We're taking insane crowd control that'll have your enemies begging for mercy, all while you're leading your team to those jaw-dropping confirmed kills. In this video, I will show you the gear you need, the best attributes to take, and some easy combos that will make you the most ultimate annoyance to anyone who dares cross your path. Let's get right to the video. First things first, as always, let's talk about the attributes. Since we are healing, we want to have either 200 or 210 con with the rest focused. I highly recommend 210 con, but it doesn't matter that much at the end of the day. There's two life staff builds to choose from, and that's going to be your standard beacon healer, which should be played in hybrid groups with a combination of melee and ranged, and the AoE healer, which should be played in full melee groups. You could run the hybrid beacon build in the melee groups, but I've had more success with AoE healing and chain ceasing with my spear. For the spear builds, you have three options. If you want to play with skewer, pick this. If you want to play with cyclone, pick this. And lastly, if you want to play with perforate, pick this. Each build has their place, and you can figure out yourself which one best suits your playstyle. I would recommend using the perforate build with melees and burst classes, cyclone if you find yourself getting trained by melees, and skewer as a general all-around choice. With the latest event coming to an end, you might have a lot of the Kraken or Sturgeon gear patterns saved. If not, you can buy them off the trading post and craft them at the outfitting station or the forge. These patterns have an insanely high chance to roll resilient with a guaranteed elemental version and refreshing perks already on it. Refreshing is the biggest part of this build to get max CC value, so make sure to craft all of the patterns needed to fit your off pieces. The other piece required is going to be a resilient fortifying sacred ground refreshing piece or the sagacious helmet from the Tempest Heart dungeon. Best in slot jewelry is pretty expensive, but feel free to use any two perkers you have. For best in slot, however, your amulet is going to be any form of health, stamina recovery, and protection. The ring will be hardy sacred refreshing, and the earring will be refreshing healthy toast and refreshing toast. You can also use the refreshing toast and focused earring from Tempest as a replacement. If you plan to run the beacon build, run the glowing life crystal staff from the Dynasty dungeon, and for the AoE build, run the cleric's walking staff from Empyrean Forge. For the most important part of this build, this spear will be the most absolute best in slot you can get. Enfeebling Skewer and Plagued Strikes. The downward sweep of coup de grace counts as a heavy attack, so each time you sweep someone, they get a fat healing debuff right in the face. You can craft a fortifying perforate or leeching cyclone plus Plague Strike Spear for the other builds, builds, but it's not necessary. My recommendation would just be to craft an enfeebling skewer and plague strike spear, just in case you do plan to use the skewer builds. That spear can be used for all of the other builds as well. The gem split if you want to run as a healer is going to be 4 onyx and 4 opals. This is going to give you the max damage reduction against all sources. For the gem in your life staff, any diamond rune glass of damage over time effects will be the best option. The best gem for your spear is going to be a rune glass of arboreal amber. It is super min-max and you honestly don't even need to take it. You can put a T5 amber in here as well. It does not matter. The best Heartrune is mending stone form, and the consumes you want to use are health potions, mana potions, regeneration potions, and fire absorption or oak flesh depending on the teams you are up against. As always, make sure you are using max tier consumes such as tier 5 honing stone, food, energizing hearted meals, and sunrise whenever you can to min-max in PvP. Now that we talked about everything about the build, let's get right into the combos. Before we get into the combos though, let's go into the spear tree and see the cooldown reduction perks that we have taken to min-max our uptime and CC. We have 3 key cooldown reduction perks that we need to make sure we are using at all times. The first cooldown reduction perk in the spear tree that we have taken is going to be aggressive maneuvers. The first successful hit with an ability within 2 seconds of dodging reduces all spear cooldowns by 20%. We are going to dodge pretty much before every spear cooldown to get this active. The next cooldown reduction ability in the spear tree is going to be continuous motion under the vault kick ability. Cooldowns for other spear abilities are reduced by 30% on successful hits. The third cooldown reduction perk in the spear skill tree is going to be refreshing reach. Successful heavy attacks reduce all spear cooldowns by 15%. And lastly, refreshing jabs. All spear ability cooldowns are reduced by 10% on the second hit of the light attack chain. So now that we talked about all of the cooldown reduction perks that we need to make use of, let's talk about what our standard opener is going to look like. With aggressive maneuvers, we need to make sure that we dodge before every spear ability that we cast. So the main rotation that we're going to start off with is a dodge into a kick, into a dodge, into a sweep, into a heavy attack. As you see here, my kick cooldown went pretty much from max cooldown right down to 0. This is how you get the max CC chain possible. If we decide to do a kick combo without dodging first, our kick cooldown does not get reduced by that much because, let's check once again in the spear tree, aggressive maneuvers, the first successful hit with an ability within 2 seconds of dodging reduces all spear cooldowns by 20%. This works even if you have all cooldowns available. You want to make sure you dodge even if you're full cooldowns to get that 20% off the first hit. And pretty much that's the combo for chain CC. You want to do this on healers, you want to do this on players that don't have grit, mages, pretty much anybody that doesn't have grit. Okay, very simple. Kick, dodge, sweep, heavy attack, dodge, kick, dodge, sweep, heavy attack, and the rotation is pretty much the same over and over. You can incorporate some skewers as well for the weekend. Same thing with some perforates as well. You can also do some cyclones, but the main 2 abilities will always be kick and sweep. If you guys learned something new today or liked the build, make sure you guys show some support by leaving a like and a subscription. It really does help the channel. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and peace, baby.